All right, welcome folks to Last Week I Learned with Jimmy Cerrone. Today we're going to be talking about my writing process and actually the tool I use, which is called Matter as a reader. And I'm going to start by kind of showing you, I've talked about metaphor before, but I'm just going to look up some interesting things on here and I'm going to show you kind of the start of the funnel through the end. So um, let's see, here's some stuff about nuclear fusion, right? I don't know, this is kind of cool. Um, this is kind of where things start. A lot of times I'm just curious about something or I see something in another article and I want to read more about it. So in this case, I'm just going to use a shortcut I set up. It's Control M, and as you can see up here, it just saved to my queue, which is where everything goes in Matter. I can add tags, so you'll see, I'll talk to you a little bit more about this, but you can see I have like Kubernetes, which is for work, travel, which is for fun. I have some other work stuff and, some dates, which we'll get into. I could take a note about this one, like doing a little research, and we'll see that show up later. Um, I'm going to tag this for this week's newsletter. And I mean, there's a bunch of stuff you can send to Kendall. I never do that. You can manage your keyboard shortcuts. And what we're going to do is we're just going to go right to Q. And we should see it pop up. It looks like though I'm sorting by oldest first, so I don't want that right now. Here's my article. You can see it has the tag. If we pull up the note, we should be able to see it. Looks like that didn't work. That's exciting. Um, I don't want this though. So that's just the input, right? So that's how we start. I just deleted it. So if I refresh the page, it should be gone. It is gone. And here is kind of the home base. This is the queue. This is all the stuff I have bookmarked over time. There's probably like thousands of things by now because I just bookmark everything. There's a bunch of ways to look at things. You can try to resume articles that you're reading. I have a lot of them, so it takes forever. These are all the things I'm reading at some level. You can do This is what I'm really excited about. You can look at articles, you can look at podcasts, and you can look at YouTube. I'm terrible at doing anything related to YouTube, so I'm really excited for this. They actually are getting to like transcribing it, and so I can look at the transcript of the video and request it. And ding, 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 I can really start to read things instead of watching videos, which I love because I really hate watching things. It really annoys me. It's my least favorite way to consume content. I'm okay with listening to things, so I do have some podcasts that I have here. As you can see, it takes a while because I have so many freaking things in here. Um, but this one, here's a Tim Ferriss podcast with Jerry Seinfeld. Here's the transcript. It's incredible what they're doing. They're turning basically everything into text and they're making it super easy to view things. There's a couple other ways you can slice this. I always go to shuffle because I think it's fun to be serendipitous and see what the hell comes up. You can filter by lots of things. I never use this. I just do shuffle and then I pick something. So 3 days of Toronto. This is exciting. This is a blog that I like. And it's super easy to, you can highlight. Um, and then I can say, well, actually, I want to take a note on this. This is so cool. And ding, 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 look, you have a note and you can see what's going on. You can send these, you can copy to a clipboard. You see it says export to Markdown. You can use this with tools like Notion, la da 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 da. So I could have all my stuff synced to Notion. I don't do that. Um, One of the really, really cool things that captured me about Matter first is it took the place of like all these annoying newsletters I had. So I usually use Hey, which I love, and they had this concept of the feed where all your newsletters would go, but it was really hard to read them, and I like could not keep track of them. So instead, you just have this email, uh, this Matter email, which for me is this one. Please don't use that, I suppose, and spam me. But you can add RSS feeds. You can basically do anything here, and it makes it super easy to keep track of all the interesting things you have going on. So I follow all these people, and I just review it like once a day. And basically, I say, nope. Uh, you know, if I want it, then I save it. If I don't want it, I just archive it. I've already read about this. So, kind of fun, really helpful. You can search. The search is okay. It's still improving. It needs some work, but Yeah, lots of interesting stuff to do here. You can have favorites, blah, 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 blah. Let me show you now how I use it though to write my newsletter. Okay, so I'm just gonna like show you with this one. I'm actually gonna do it here. So basically, as I'm reading things, I bookmark it or I add a tag for this week's date if I like it. So, I mean, I have a lot of tags for this week, and I know that I don't really want to think about Elon Musk this week, so I'm actually gonna bump this to next week, which I suppose would be like the 1st of October. So I'm gonna update that. I'm gonna remove this week's tag, so it's gone. I try to find five. So I'm gonna do. God, this was really good. I'm just gonna do this first five for this week, and I'm gonna bump all the rest of them to next week. And this kind of it ends up creating like this rolling. God, I don't know, like a rolling thing where I'm always kind of ahead, right? Like even if I now like the way you look at it is like even if I don't read anything for like a week, I have five articles already for next week. So worst case scenario, I just pick those five. Um, yeah, so that's really exciting for me. I've been bumping this one down the line for a while, but anyhow, so you see, I have five articles. Really excited about these five actually, and you can see actually this one I've highlighted 47 times. I was really into that one. Then I have a couple of products actually here. This is the really cool like GPT thing that kind of rates how well you use it. And then this is so cool. It's like videos, 3D immersive videos of different places. So this is basically how I do my newsletter. And then what I do is I use all the cool keyboard shortcuts of Matter. And so really cool one is you just Command C to copy something to the newsletter or to the whatchamacallit, to the keyboard clipboard, whatever you call it. And so that's how I start things off. Let's see, let's just call this 10-1. I use Craft to do the other part of the writing, but I just basically you know, Command C, grab it, I look around, and usually what I do is I just pull this up and I just read through my highlights and I say, okay, this is interesting, whatever, whatever, whatever. You click on it, jumps to it, and then, I pick my quote. Like, oh, yeah, that sounds good. And then, bam, you know, I write some stuff about it, and then we're off to the races. So this is how I use, Matter to manage my life. The really cool thing is, it's, got this web app that I use when I'm writing my articles, and then it has kind of an iPhone app which I use to manage my inbox basically because it's just really easy to swipe things left or right like it's freaking tender. I can say I like this article, I don't like this article, and it goes to my queue, and then I find it randomly when I shuffle. And then kind of last but not least is the iPad app. That's where I actually do all my reading. I take notes with my Apple Pen and use that like writing to text feature. And what's beautiful about Matter is it's just like it freaking works across all these platforms, which is really hype. So, when it comes to writing, I can use the keyboard shortcuts on the web app and really move quickly. And when it comes to reading, I can use my iPad or iPhone depending on what it's set up for. So, yeah, it kind of does everything. It with the inbox, I can constantly be attracting great new stuff, and it comes to me. With the queue, I can shuffle and like kind of serendipitously find content, and then with the tags, I can actually manage a freaking newsletter, which is incredible. So that is how I use Matter to manage my newsletter. Makes it super easy. And if you have questions about it or complaints or interesting new things, let me know. But I will, if I start using the podcasting and YouTube transcription more, I'll let you know and I'll make a video about that. But for now, that is it.